Hold on one second. Okay,
Call to order the Conservation Commission meeting. 6:33. And Paul.
I'll do
the
roll
roll call.
Brandon Pete,
Present.
Tom Heisler, Guy Hoffman, Chair,
Present.
Karen Pagliaro,
Present.
Mary Catherine LaRose. Present. And you have a quorum of all available members. The other seats are vacant.
And and I'd like to welcome all of our visitors to the public part of our meeting for the public comment session for the recreational trails application by Middletown, Berlin, and Meriden. The restoration and improvements for Lamentation Mountain area post the 2024 fire. And we have with us for the presentation, Caitlin Palmer from the Capital
Sonia.
Region of Government.
Sonia, I'm sorry, I don't know your last name.
Oh,
I'm good. Hi everyone, I'm Cindy Gonzalez,
and
and I'm an environmental planner at the Capital Region Council of Governments, and I'll be presenting on the Lamentation Mountain application that we're proposing for CT Sweet Recreational Trails. So, Maureen, are you able to share your slides?
Sure. Ready to turn it over?
Yeah.
Fine.
Appreciate you all coming, and for the Berlin Conservation Commission allowing us to present on this proposed application. Alrighty, so for this presentation, just be going over some of the high level parts of our proposed Deep or Department of Energy and Environmental Protection Recreational Trails Program Grant application. That's an image from a deep forestry report from parcel in the Lamentation Mountain project area. So going to the next slide. So just for everyone to know the project timeline, October 2024, a little over a year ago, the Hawthorne fire burned approximately 120 acres in Berlin and Meriden. And then their collateral impacts in Middletown with fire emergency roads created. And it's important to note that the fire occurred at the intersection of three council of governments. So I work for a council of government. And it's also at the New England National Scenic Trail. So from the beginning, this both putting out the fire and post-fire restoration efforts have required a regional approach, which is why we're involved. And we've tapped in RiverCog and SCROG, or the South Central Regional Council of Governments, and Lower Connecticut River Valley Council of Governments, who represent Middletown and Meriden into our project as well. So after the fire, from winter 2024 into May 2025, three towns in town of Berlin and the city of Middletown and Meriden began post-fire restoration and improvements discussions with DEEP, the local land trusts such as Berlin Land Trust, the Middlesex Land Trust, and as I said, the councils of governments. So CROG was took on the application as the lead, kind of coordinated the team to hire a consultant to prepare a draft scope of work and cost estimate for master planning services. Basically, this effort, each of the efforts, each of the towns contributed $2,000 of funding to create essentially a scope of work and cost estimate for future grant applications. And that is the basis of this Rec Trails grant application that we're pursuing. And that is due December 18th, 2025. In terms of the fire boundary and impact, apologies if this map is a little difficult to see, but this is a map of the Hawthorne fire area. The area was partially in Berlin, but the largest area was actually in Meriden. And if you see those black and white lines, those are dozers on the map. Those are where the fire access roads are, with many of them being in Middletown. And then for our application, emergency road access is key for fighting future fires. So we're gonna look at how these roads can be improved, including fire road drainage and surfaces. And we also want to look at mitigation of damage caused by the construction of fire roads, such as restoring some wetlands. And then we're going to be looking at the restoration and incremental improvements for the trails impacted by the Hawthorne fire, and then just generally looking at trail connectivity within the project area. Go to the next slide. So these two maps show different views of the project area. On the left, you can see in pink, those are the private properties, and then in right, you can see just the larger project area. The red outline is our proposed project area. And we also have there's a state parcel within that larger area that's included, as well as lots of municipal and land trust property. Jim, I'm not sure if you have anything to add on the project area or the fire mapping.
I'm good.
Okay, great. So going to the next slide. In terms of the anticipated study tasks, I recognize these slides are a little wordy, but there's 6 main tasks that we've outlined, including a planning needs assessment and data collection. So we're going to review plans and reports from the study area, and then inventory of existing land uses, natural resources, and prepare more in-depth study area maps. Then there's going to be a design, vision, goals, and strategies portion of the study, where we're going to be working with municipal project partners and stakeholders to basically develop a shared vision for the area, working both with the post-Hawthorne fire mitigation improvements, as well as the larger vision for the area and trail connectivity. We're going to be looking at property ownership and conservation easements. We'll be looking at, for construction, what are some priority projects and cost estimates for that. We'll be looking at a maintenance and management plan, and the feasibility for that and the different pieces there, as well as conducting ongoing community engagement throughout the process. And that is all. So thank you, and let me know if you have any questions. And Jim, if you have anything to add, or Caitlin, please feel free.
I have a question. Yep, is there anything that can be done?
That's a good question. The question about trail bikes and ATVs, that is included in our scope. The ATV use, especially related to the emergency management roads that were created, was a concern raised in our scoping process. So that it's a good point. So I appreciate you raising that, and we're going to be looking at that within the needs assessment. Yep.
You're gonna be reaching out to aggressive parties.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have been in contact with the Berlin Land Trust and Middlesex Land Trust and other properties as well. We actually I know the town of Berlin invited the private property owners in that area to this meeting as well. And then, yeah, so we're currently, part of this application involves collecting letters of support. So we're seeking letters of support from the Berlin Land Trust and other property owners.
Yeah, the Berlin Land Trust already supplied a letter of support.
Thank you, Jim.
And the Conservation Commission has had support for this and helped with the funding of the original, so we'll be adding letters before it also.
Great, thank you so much.
Appreciate
that.
I know that something that came up, at previous meetings here, we talked a bit about the, access for, that was needed to fight the fire, but also opened up places for ATVs that weren't there before. And our understanding is that that's gonna be, like you said, something that's gonna be addressed, and trying to figure out how to kind of undo that as best as possible.
So this plan is due December 18th.
Yes.
The application, so what happens after that?
That's a good question. So we're gonna be submitting this application proposal. It's due the 18th. Ideally, we'll submit it a couple days beforehand, so we're not running into the wire. And from there, the Deep Rec Trails team will review the application, and determine whether, this project will receive funding. I believe the timeline on that should be about 6 months, when we hear back whether we receive funding or not. And, should we receive the funding, we will proceed with the outline, planning, tasks, and scope of work. So this is just the planning phase. This isn't for construction phase at this point.
I would just add to
Yeah,
that. Oh, sorry.
Go.
Oh, yeah.
I was just gonna add to that, we would release likely, much like we did with this preliminary effort so far with the draft scope, et cetera. We would likely release probably an RFQ, a request for qualifications, or an RFP potentially, to solicit expertise, a consultant to come on board and work with the 3 communities and the COGS on the project.
Do you know businesses that can do this kind of work?
You're not
We-
expecting that.
No, we're gonna be hiring a consultant. That's what the funding would be for, to do this work. And if anything, we'll be, as I said before, there'll be ongoing community engagement, with the Berlin Conservation Commission, the general public, landowners, et cetera. So we have that all scoped up. So there will be input, but we'll be submitting professional services for that. Any other questions?
How was the study area, the project area chosen?
That's a good question. So the project area, so Jim, and the other, municipal project partners kind of provided the project area mapping, as we were coming into the process. And so it's important to note that part of the anticipated master plan scope will be to determine the appropriate project area moving forward based on the, task A planning needs assessment, task C with evaluating property ownership and easement opportunities, as well as future engagement and outreach with private property owners in the area. So that's kind of how the area came to be, but it's not necessarily the final area. The scope will also address final project area for construction and improvements based on the planning process itself. Do you have anything to add, Jim?
No, that's correct.
Thank you.
So what you're planning to get in by the 16th, that's not completed yet?
We're still working on that, the application materials.
Any other questions, comments?
Doesn't appear so.
Officially close the public.
I think that's
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for coming out and your interest in this. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, it's part of that.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
It's one of our other items on the
Oh, okay.
agenda.
Yeah.
So
so. All right.
think
and
we're probably
conclude
good.
Conclude the public session, so. Anybody else that's interested in staying for any of the rest of the business for the Conservation Commission is welcome to stay. We're open for,
Two other items. are-
yeah, and there's some other items, okay. Very good. And we'll move on to
You
the,
can stay, but you don't have to. Okay.
move on to the next, it's not on here, but, it would be audience, the citizens, but, is there anybody here that isn't, that has something to add other than items that are already on our agenda? Okay. So we'll move to the commission business then. Public land, trail information. And item number one is this discussion of access easement on 2215 Chamberlain Highway and potential relocation in the trail and parking.
Yeah, so these two are here to discuss this.
Yep.
Is that okay to set up there?
Yeah, I think that works
Oh,
perfectly.
Great, but let me. Just see, so, good evening, for the record, Tom Daly with SLR Consulting. I'm the civil engineer working on, this project. And, we are currently working our way through an application before the Wetlands Commission. We actually just submitted to Wetlands Commission on Mondays, and then after that, we'll move on to planning and zoning. But this is a application for a greenhouse on Chamberlain Highway. This property has been used as greenhouses for a very long time. And it's, to be honest, it's kind of moved into an area of disrepair. But as we started to work and develop a plan for our greenhouses, it was identified that currently there is a access easement and a trail parking location on the parcel. Now, we were out there walking one day and we met the neighbor next door. I guess a little bit of the history was this was a much bigger parcel, but it's been subdivided since then. But the light green area you can see on the plan is where it's currently, there is an easement in favor of the town for access, 12 parking spaces, and then essentially a connection into the trail system. And if you know, in the far back, it's a talus slope and fairly steep, so access up to this area, Chamberlain Highway is here. And then just to give you oriented, the new greenhouses are being built somewhere about here, and if you head south. So access here and parking here is not to go right up into the Metacomet. It's actually to run you down, and then I believe there's a trail linkage down to the south. Interesting thing is though, if you're out there today, you actually have to drive all the way into the property, and the parking lot is really to the far rear. And our thoughts are, and actually there's an existing gate here. What we were thinking was, is it better to bring the public into the front of the property? One, frankly, you can have good access, visibility from the road. Police can monitor that parking lot a little more easily. And I think the public also will understand there's actually some parking as opposed to something that's so far in the rear. The other thing is it does bifurcate the business part of it. So we'll have some concerns about the public being brought into the property where there's going to be a greenhouse and some public spaces, or sorry, private businesses. So we were out in the field and we actually came up with a concept that we'd like to run by you. And the proposal would be, so just as you come in, there's a nice flat level area here. We'd relocate the 12 parking spaces right to here. It would be on this side of the gate. There's actually a wetland corridor that runs along through here. It's more of a ditch. It's a natural break. So this would be the public access parking lot here. It would be only, frankly, I think this is 1 inch equals 40. So it's probably only about 150 feet into the site. And then we would construct a trail system that came along the meadow through here, and then ultimately there's a nice wooded section about here to here. And then it comes out again into basically a wooded section. We'd then link up with the trail that heads you down off to the property. But it's really about bringing the public's access out towards the road and then allowing some security and basically security for the business access. We would work with this commission as to potentially find, this route is fairly simple. We kind of tucked it up. There's a nice woodland tree edge here right along the wetland corridor. And then we'd work with the commission to kind of, we don't want to clear any trees. We work our way through the tree system here. And then we found this linkage. It was pretty clear, and then it heads off to the south where it ultimately does the linkage. But we just found it a little odd that the public is being brought so deep into a private property. So the applicant, John and Marilyn are with us. If you have any questions, but we would construct it. And even this is fairly informal. Frankly, if you drove out there, you wouldn't even know there's a parking lot, there's a hard area you could park, but it's really somewhat unorganized. Thought here would be, this would be a more organized approach to it. So we're here to just get your thoughts on it, and we are looking for some feedback, because ultimately some of these activities are in the upland review area for the wetland commission, so we have to present those impacts to them. We have put together an application, and we did show it, and we did put a note saying subject to this commission's approval, because we didn't want to get caught where we didn't have anything approved for the wetlands. With that, myself and Marilyn and John are more than happy to answer any questions. Yeah.
Anybody on the commission? Brandon, Karen?
Yes, may you quickly and a little informal bring the presentation closer to the camera so we can see it a little more clearly on Zoom. We have a question from a commenter too.
So just bring it to the middle of the table probably,
Yeah,
or even to here. I've had to do that several times.
thank you.
So the yellow green is the existing and the blue is the proposed.
Can you see the colors?
Yes.
Okay. So just
Yeah.
for you guys as well, so the way the parking has come in here, I'm not sure that people actually use this area for parking. They tended to come, and there's a gravel area down here where parking occurred, and then walked. Just, I think I tried to explain that on the phone to you, but it obviously doesn't translate well on the phone.
So here's Chamberlain Highway. This is the talus slope in the back. And then there's a wetland corridor, a ditch kind of that runs right along here. These are the proposed greenhouses.
That ditch, is it vegetated? Is there a landscape buffer separating the trail from the greenhouse?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a fairly robust brush corridor through here.
Good.
How many parking spaces are you proposing?
Good question.
We're matching existing, so I think we're showing 16, and I think the easement says 16.
Is there any signage that's proposed to alert the public of where to go and to park?
We would like to work with you on that. Right now, there is no signage on the property.
Mhm.
I think it's more.
We historically, we've had problems with signage
Yeah.
and have had signs out on the Chamberlain Highway indicating access, trail access. Previous owners, those signs would disappear. And like you said, with the access being further in, if there wasn't a sign telling people, they really didn't know. And there had been issues with the gate and
Yeah.
being locked up when we're supposed to have access and this
Yeah, but-
potentially, I'm encouraged by this and
We'd be more than happy to
interested in
work-
this because
Yeah.
I think that would, as you mentioned, would change the dynamics here and keep the public access out away from the business. And so you you do eliminate that kind of problem of access. And it's a little bit more consistent with what we have for other parking
Right,
for
you
our
drive down there,
facilities,
you see the
and
parking lot,
you can
right?
see the parking lot. for-
It's a traditional layout, right?
Yeah.
Your parking, police are able to drive by and see the activities that are
Yeah.
going on there, and then you walk. And this is, just to tell you, this is about, it's not that long, it's about 950 feet to get you there. And then, but the distance from here to here was about 450 feet.
Mhm.
So in the lower scope of a long walk, it's not that much, but really, we'd like to close the gate at night. And we don't really want to get in that conflict that you just described, where
Yeah.
we're trying to create, or security, but then we're closing off your rights to get into the property. So when we walk in the field, it just seemed like it was a good understanding of maybe how we can approach this.
Mhm.
But whether we have signage up here, and then I assume we would have some signage here saying, hey, that's trail parking.
Yeah.
Don't go past.
And I would think potentially, Jim, we would want some standard sign somewhere.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think, I like the idea of moving the parking closer to to Chamberlain Highway. But I would just observe that I think you probably need to modify the existing easement, which would require, going to the town council or referral to planning and zoning, and then back, so there's a process involved there too.
Yeah, that's what I figured in, and I also felt like we would need to, before endorsing something, to actually take a look at what that access looks like.
Yeah,
Out-
Carl
out
Lewis,
in the-
commission member, had walked previous,
Wow.
yeah, so I mean, I think you gotta get some eyes on it and get out in the field and confirm.
Yeah,
So a while back, number of years ago, where at the bottom of the map, where at the southerly end of your property, we had walks for a potential relocation at that time, just south of that on the other property, and it was gonna come up on
Others gonna go.
the southerly side of the property, but it was basically adjacent to that the trail was gonna get blazed from a parking lot further down the road if that had come to fruition, which it did not, so this is what we're.
I got a question. Are there any private property owners that are affected by, the new plan? I don't know, like over here, is that land all yours? That's all yours, okay.
So,
And even in the back where the old. It's all yours.
correct, it's all self-contained. The city of Meriden owns a piece back in the corner, which was an old wellhead. So I think as Jim indicated, ultimately, if we work our way through and we get some positive endorsements, Wetlands Commission, and then ultimately, the attorneys will have to get involved. We'll extinguish this and replace it with this, and that map will be filed on the land records. And I will say, it's a little odd, the map we saw, it almost looks like our surveyors indicate that the easement starts here and didn't include the driveway. But
Yes.
yes, the mapping was, we struggled with. it a
yeah,
little bit.
my understanding of it was just
Yeah.
an easement in the back, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
so-
maybe we have to give you an easement across this driveway here. Pass and repass to get to here.
Yeah, I think it would have to include
Yeah.
all the way to the road.
Yeah, we give you
Yes.
here. It's a little weird that you can get there, but you're actually on private property from here to there.
Yeah.
So maybe that was just a, gap in the discussion.
Yeah, because when I first heard about this easement and started looking into it, again, probably 8 years ago or whatnot, I understood the easement was just in language and there was no map that identified exactly where, that it was an easement through the property and to park on the property, and
Yeah.
that the previous long-term owner had kind of adjusted where those parking spaces were available on the lot, depending on probably his seasons.
Yeah.
And what he needed the space adjacent for.
We did-
So,
Through our search, we did find some old mapping, And maybe those were more illustrative in nature. But I think there's an opportunity to clean this up and tighten it up a little.
That would
bit
be great
more.
from the town standpoint. We did get a question on chat, which just for everyone's, it's very difficult to monitor chat. It's not something we typically do, but we are trying to help everybody find, with as much as they can, get as much information as they can during the webinar. Could you bring the map forward again and really point out Chamberlain Highway versus, the mountain again?
So to orientate you, Chamberlain Highway, right here. This is the location of where the former greenhouses are. If you look at GIS, you'll see that whole area. So and then the driveway comes in here, there's a gate. And then the green area is where the current parking is deeded to be, but you don't really see a parking lot. So the new concept would be about 150 feet off of Chamberlain Highway. There's a level flat area. A gravel parking lot of 16 spaces would be there, and then the trail connection would head south. And then head east to tie into the remaining portion. The proposed greenhouses would be here. The existing gate would be able to be closed at night for security. Or even during. the
Hopefully
day.
that answers the person, orientation. They were trying to get the
Yeah.
orientation. Summit Wood Drive is up to the northeast corner of there, up at the top of the hill. So,
I have a question as far as you said that the part, to the south of the proposed parking is still the property.
Correct, it's all part of this.
Would there be anything, do you anticipate any kind of activity there that might change or have an impact on having access as you've proposed?
There's nothing proposed at this time. Potentially there could be continued agricultural type uses. But right now we're planning, the proposal, we're not touching that area.
Okay.
And this is just a greenhouse here. And as you can see, these are all the old greenhouses here. A lot of gravel got put down here.
Yeah.
There's a well here. So no, at this time,
Okay.
we have no plans to do anything.
So
else there.
if this were to happen, get all the endorsements and approvals, then that would be in place.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to work around
And that's why.
that access.
Yeah, and that's why I tucked it up against toward
Yeah.
the wetlands, because that's a
Mhm.
regulated area anyway, so we're gonna be really limited. We didn't want to encumber, because there could be some agriculture use here, but by tucking this up, it
Yeah.
runs right up, and then also people will do signage here, but you run along the brush line, so there's some sense of where you're going.
Mhm.
And then, as you said, you kind of do a switchback, because there is some topography here, so you do a little switchback, then you're running on basically a flat ridge here. To tie into there. That's why I did the switchback, just to kind
Yep.
of soften the topography as you get up through there. But, yeah, the next step, so. What I'm hearing from the commission is, in concept, the plan seems to make some sense.
Yeah.
And achieve some goals that
Yes.
frankly you're doing on some other open space areas.
Mhm.
And then maybe the next step is you all, do a site visit.
Yeah.
And do that, I mean, it's, do we have to? I just, you have access today to even get into here.
No, to answer your question, we don't need to give them a heads up.
Okay, so you have freedom to get out there.
Okay.
So if you go out there now, as you'll see, just stop short of the gate
Gate,
and it's
yeah,
really,
and then-
when you get out there, you're like, I got this.
Yeah.
So, and then you head off there and through there, so you have rights. Essentially, you have public access already to the
Right.
rear, so you
Yeah.
can get into there and, so I guess our next step is we have to go to the Wetlands Commission and see if they're okay with it.
Right.
That, because we are in their upland review.
Yeah.
And then I guess would we circle back with you after that?
Yeah, yeah. I
would you want them? You need them to?
don't know. I think we could do a motion that said that we would
have to-
endorse it based on
Pending site.
pending site visit and then. Yeah,
And that would be really helpful because the Wetlands Commission is gonna ask me, did you guys run this by the Conservation Commission? And we want to make sure that we're doing that. So, that would be great. And we can adjust the trail. So if you go out there and there's some
Yeah,
nice trees, you
yeah.
want to scoot around there, but
That was the other thing, you have a copy that could get emailed.
yes, so it's already been
It's
submitted
already-
as part of the wetlands application, so
Okay.
it's probably on your portal already.
Okay, yeah.
And I believe I just, so if you go in there, this plan and the aerial photograph. Unfortunately, I can leave this with, anybody wants to meeting with the commission if they want to put in your, this one, I can leave that.
Yeah.
So, but these have been, primarily, the Conservation, or Wetlands Commission uploads everything on the portal.
Yes,
On the website.
I believe so.
So
Okay.
those
Yeah.
should be available
Yeah,
within a day.
I just thought it'd be good to,
But I can-
if whoever's out,
I'm
taking,
more than happy.
taking a look, it'd be nice to,
I'll
you
leave
know,
these,
mark
Yeah.
something up.
if it's okay, I wouldn't mind leaving these with you.
Are there any stakes or flags out there?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
just.
Well, no. Well, you'll see, when you go along here in this woodland edge, you'll see our wetland scientists went out there and found
Okay.
flags, so you'll see flags along the wetlands along there. And that will give you some guidance.
And if you're looking, I don't, you're not gonna, not have to, but if you go back to where the easement currently is, it's very unclear about where any
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
trail might be.
No, and
There seems to be like access kind of pushing you in towards the Meriden property line, where the city of Meriden
Yeah.
owns it.
Yeah.
Which is over.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you don't want
Yeah,
to go
right.
back there, so, I mean, intuitively, just walking in kind of with a blank slate, it seemed very. Just kind of scattered back
Yeah.
there, and here it's
Yeah.
more direct.
And I think for the visit, we would only be looking at the new.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it made this time when it was a collective of a much bigger parcel and everything, but as the parcel has been subdivided, it just seems to, I don't know. But I think ultimately, I think the public will gain better access just by seeing it visually. And to be honest, even to go back there, and that's might be long distance back there. But we're excited, we were on the field and it just seemed like it made a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Ultimately, it doesn't really, one way or the other, doesn't really, impact what we're doing. But we just thought it was a better way, because we would like security, we would like to lock the gate.
Yeah, and
Or the
we
weekends.
fully understand that, and,
So
but it seems to serve both
yes,
parties.
but yeah, if you could do that indoors and with a caveat, that would be
Yeah.
great, then I can report to the Wetlands Commission that we're working our process. What?
I just joined.
Oh, then I'll see you there.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
December 2nd.
December. Come on, quick, yeah.
So if you don't mind sending those to me electronically, we can put them with the Conservation Commission as well, if you have those electronically. We also have a question on chat that asks, what happens with the trail that slopes north up the face of the cliff? So my response to that is nothing is happening with regard to trails off this site. This is merely a discussion of the access on the property at 2215 Chamberlain Highway. Hope that answers the question.
Correct, that's not.
Right, it's not your property, it's the trails that exist up there exist, they're all, they're mapped as well as trails that people have, cut throughs as well, up to the trails.
Jim, do you have any other comments on this, or,
No, I think you've covered it.
okay. If anybody,
Yeah.
members of the commission want.
Yeah, I just have
Okay.
a request, if you can also provide for the commission just the language of the easement. I'm sure maybe it's on land records or something like that. Just to get an understanding of how that would need to be changed over, just more so a curiosity.
So the existing deed,
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, the
we have
easement
time.
on the deed,
Do you
yes.
have the book and page? Do you know it?
not off, well, it's actually on survey, yes.
Yeah. You have the book and page, we can,
Yeah, I can look it up now.
And I'll actually include the survey with you. So volume 586. Page 857.
Thank you.
And then we realize that, if this is an endorsement by the commission, that there's still the other steps that it has to go through and other approval.
Legal review and legal reviews.
Legal reviews and everything, so.
I think we would, obviously Maureen's part of the process all the way through, so she'll be well informed. But we still have to go to wetlands. We haven't submitted the planning and zoning yet. And then maybe, if we are successful in planning and zoning, this is an area, then we'll tackle the legal part of it. We'll have to engage an attorney, then we can prepare easement maps that would go on the land records. But also in case, I'll leave these on the record, just in case somebody wants to come in and see those, but Maureen, I will email you digital copies. Thank you, I appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you.
You don't want to make a motion or not?
Is there a motion from me?
Yeah, but there's so much, I'm not sure.
I wrote a poor
And
one.
I would propose a motion to relocate.
I wrote a poor one.
You have one?
I wrote, it's not great,
Oh,
but
please, please.
it's
Margie.
the second thing, Conservation Commission, and then,
Um,
I mean, you might have to
You're right.
reword it a little bit.
Easement with relocation of parking west of, so much better than mine, west of the gate, subject to required approvals by
Inland
the
wetland,
wetlands and other town approval, and pending a site visit.
we have a first and a second.
Second.
all right. Any other discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? That was all five anyway.
Can I have my paper back so I can write that down on the right side of it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
That's
it.
all right.
Well, thank you. And, that. Yeah, I'll figure out how to do. Okay. Yep.
So if you keep it to 2 or 3 of you at a
Yeah,
time,
yeah, we can't.
we don't have to notice it, but.
Too many of us go, then it's a.
Oh,
But he's not, so he can, somebody else can go if.
Very good. It's nice to see a proposal like that, where, I mean, that's been a problem issue for us for. I hate to say how long.
as long as I can remember, I've been on
Yeah.
it, but I don't think the gate being locked and then signs disappearing. A long time, but that was a different owner. These-
Yeah.
yeah, the new owner, this piece.
I don't even
Yeah.
think
Oh, that's right, yeah.
we- Subject to their.
I wonder what they're gonna grow.
I'm sorry?
The greenhouse is what they're gonna grow. I don't know, they're just doing, what? If they're
Um,
building.
I think they're bedding plants, but I'm not, but I couldn't,
All right.
I don't know if they're. Have more.
The next item, sign repairs, authorization of, for $400 for sign repairs. For the new connection in Metacomet Trail at the end of Summit Wood.
So, do we have the money in our coffers?
I believe so. I unfortunately didn't have time to pull up the exact account number, et cetera, but you should have it
we
from
should
your
have-
public education.
Yeah, we should have the full
Okay,
amount.
so I move that we authorize $400 expenditure for sign repairs and for materials to mark a new connection to the Metacomet Trail at the end of Summit Wood Drive.
second, Pete.
All right. Any other comments or? All right. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Once again, very good. Thank you. The third item, consideration of support for the deep recreational trails grant. by CFPA that would include work to create a connection between Timberland and Ragged Mountain.
So we discussed that. I thought, if you don't mind, we discussed that trail connection last month.
Mhm.
And CFPA is looking to apply for a grant that would help them facilitate that work. I don't know if Jim has anything to add on that, but that's sums
Just
it
to
up, I
say
think.
that we, obviously we bought that parcel on Reservoir Road to facilitate this connection. We also modified our easement through the New Britain Water Company land so we could get over to Ragged. So this has been a step-by-step process, and Carl had scouted that out, as he told you, I'm sure, with CFPA, Wayne Fogg. So it's much more efficient for us to have CFPA do this work than for the town to take it on. So this is a really win-win for us if they get the grant.
All right, yeah, I think um, we look favorably on that in the past, so we need a motion, and consideration of support is in the form, Jim, of an official letter from me to Deep, the coordinator.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we have a motion?
That is the motion.
So
Again,
moved.
No.
Second.
All right.
got it, Maureen, right? Second.
All right, any,
Oh, Tom, second.
Yep. Any comments? Discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, once again, all in favor. Thank you. And on to part B, update on efforts for Trust for Public Land to acquire the former Augustus Moore property on High Road.
You want to do this, Jim, or
Is this
should
your-
I wing it?
I can do it if you like. It just,
Yeah, if
and
you don't mind.
if, I think the commission's aware that, there's a presentation by Trust for Public Land to the town council. They're collaborating with the Berlin Land Trust to try to acquire that property. They've secured a open space and watershed area grant from DEP that applies to a certain part of the property. The land trust already has secured a partial easement, I would call it, for the portion of the property with the home. And so this is going through kind of a step-by-step process. And it's great that TPL is taking all this on. I think the acquisition price is about 1.7 million. So they are pursuing other funding avenues, and one of them is the Highlands program from the federal government, which we've applied to become part of, and they're successful in the past in securing these grants, and they've got other grants that they're pursuing. So I believe that they're going to be looking for, I know they're going to be looking for some financial assistance for the town also, and that probably a consideration will be for us, the town, to look at the easements that are going to be in place and make sure that, we're satisfied with the easements in terms of particularly public access and historic preservation of the property. So I think that probably the town council will do an 824, referral to planning and zoning on this, perhaps at their meeting next week, and then the funding discussion will happen maybe in December. So it's moving along. It's the Trust for Public Land may close on the acquisition of this property before they get all the funding, but they certainly are appreciative of of any support that they can get. But yeah, so that's kind of an overview of where we are, which I think is very positive.
I think that, last week, didn't Honor mention there was a December something deadline for the Trust for Public Land application or something, wasn't it? There was sometime in December. It sounded similar to the dates that they were talking about earlier, but,
Yeah, it's more that they had to, there was a right of first refusal on the property so that they had to match. So I think the intent is that they're actually gonna close on the acquisition of the property by the end of the year.
oh,
That,
But
my
you thought-
understanding is that the current owner wants to close before the end of the year. So what TPL is going to do or has done, they have an internal system so that they can borrow money at a low rate. So what they're going to do is borrow money and close on the property, and then after the fact, they will
Right.
get the grants with their, because I think a lot of the things they want be announced until after.
And the grants are, needed in the long term to allow them to really preserve the property. So, but they're, stepping up as indicated to close on the property to keep the options open, and hopefully we'll get to the end.
So so he's refused, he's accepted, allowed PPL to purchase property. Oh, all right. But if it doesn't go through, he wants to be reinstated for his rights. So
Okay.
he's the one, I think, that built the 9 or 10 homes across.
What kind of time window does the Trust for Public Lands have to?
Or by year end.
By year end.
Stuff.
Okay,
So, yeah, Melissa said that they're gonna get a loan to buy. But if not enough money comes through in the next 3 to 6 months after that, at some point, we gotta figure out what we're doing.
okay.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's taken on a lot without doing it that way, but. Okay. Yeah.
Right, so any money that's given will reduce the loan they have to take potentially, and that will help with interest costs and their expenses. They don't do this for free. And, so there are these other costs. And then once it gets purchased, we're gonna be discussing what to do then with it. And that's because it's a house, it's gonna require money after the fact.
Yeah.
So,
And, the walking trail is part of the overall plan, or?
Good. So there, in the proposal of the town council, they drew a little line and
Yeah.
said, this is the proposed, that probably won't be exactly, but yes.
But some kind of.
We're hoping to open it up to the public,
Mhm.
and so there's a big field. And I think part of the vision might be just to have an interpretive trail around the edge of the field, for the public.
It's,
See,
I have not.
okay, well, I'll do lawyer.
We have signs, along the streets.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
advertising this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a beautiful parcel. I looked at it as part of the Conservation Commission. Decades ago,
It's on the list.
when the DEP grants first started. And we were evaluating a number of properties around town, and that was one that came up even back then.
Yeah, it's not just 27 nice acres,
Yeah.
it's historic house, historic artist, beautiful, yeah.
And the issue with it more was that the way the deep grants were, it was less about historic, and it had some points and things for, like farmland and things, places like that. But if you were scoring properties, it was, next to water bodies, wetlands, what could be used for real open space kind of, what the potential of the property, what it could become, if it wasn't preserved and stuff. And we really liked this one. It came in just lower than a couple of other properties at the time. Is a
And it's
ranking.
like score.
We had to score them based on the DEP approach.
But now things have changed to.
Yeah, and the other ones we have been purchased by.
ranking.
Yeah, yeah, and for
Yeah,
that way,
Soils and slopes and everything.
Yeah. oh, thank you.
Oh, the copy, yeah, oh,
Yes.
the booklet.
All right, can I get this now?
I guess.
Okay. I have something else in my car. We have a monograph that tells about the life and art of Nelson Augustus Warren
Mhm.
with paintings, some of which were at the property years ago. So I'll go get it.
He's a member of the land trust. He did a presentation last week at our Berlin Land Trust,
Okay.
dinner, so,
Yeah, I think this information you can find on.
yeah.
Good.
Right. This is listed as a
I never know what
update
to
on
make
it.
of what
Is there?
I swear, it doesn't.
There's no real motion.
Thing that I
for support.
like.
Well,
Right.
that's off one of your Stevens ones, so you can just carry that.
Oh, it's for the connections, the ragged. Yeah, yeah. And the lamentation, I got two of them. All right, yeah, I don't know if there's any, this was listed as an update. I don't know if there's any official endorsement. I mean, I believe that we've,
For this,
yeah, I believe that we put in last month, but we don't have the minutes up.
I think we did.
Yeah, they weren't done.
Oh.
Yeah. That, because that's when we first saw that. Yeah. Yeah. I know, I think it's personally, yeah.
We just say we get
um,
our commitment or our endorsement to
preservation
the
of the,
preservation of Nelson Augustus
more?
Moore property on
Yeah.
High Road, the
can-
home and the land.
I think we could do that. Yeah. Sound reasonable, Karen and Brandon?
It was very hard to hear, so I
Oh,
can't
okay.
you with,
Sorry about that. Just, Mary Catherine was saying about, just reaffirming our support for the property being preserved in the house and the property and the efforts to preserve it.
do we really need a motion for that, though? I mean,
It was only because we didn't have we think we did it last month, but we don't have the minutes from last month, so we were just kind of reaffirming it.
Yeah, because it hasn't been out there then.
What it provides opportunity for is if the question is asked or a letter is requested, then the commission would have already endorsed it.
Yeah.
I'll go with what the majority said.
Right.
All right.
You want to vote on that?
You'll
Yeah.
need to do it. Well, just say if that's the motion.
Motion, yeah.
to Reaffirm support for the town's endorsement of the protection of the Nelson Augustus Moore historic home and property on High Road.
That works. Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
I,
Hi.
All right. Very good. Just to. Because like I said, we don't have the minutes up from last month, so. Just to-
I'm sure you would have, voted.
I'm sure.
I think
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah. All right.
And I'm sorry for that. It's,
We're short that person too.
yeah,
We're short members, we're short.
the secretary, we're short a lot of things. We'll get there. We're
Alright.
coming around. I think we have an application in,
Okay.
so,
Thank
for
you.
secretary, not for members.
Oh,
But
we need.
I don't know about members.
All right. And I think that takes care of the part 4, the commission business on the planning and zoning commission applications. Do we have any?
So no, not at the time of the
Yep.
agenda.
Right.
We have gotten one in, but I haven't had time to
Okay.
process it yet. It came in today or yesterday, so.
Then move on to the plan of conservation and development discussion for the implementation. The good thing was that,
I'm gonna leave you guys. Good night. Thank you
okay,
for your help.
take care. Thank you, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And, just to, we have other people here, we have a, group that's, made up of, representatives from most of the commissions in town to try to put the, plan of conservation and development to really do the implementation of it and everything. So the good news was we finally got to the environmental stuff, which was primarily what I presented about our priorities and what we've talked about here over this past year. About a lot of it for access, signage, parking, issues and stuff with open space parcels. The bad news was we did not have a quorum. So, so we had a nice, no,
A couple of committees.
none. But, yeah,
Look to be an alternate to go.
Yeah.
to go to this meeting.
Yeah.
Specifically, on most of the commissions haven't officially created an alternate. It is a committee. They're not a decision maker, so if somebody can't go to the meeting, then they can call somebody else to represent. But they were able to hold the meeting together because they're not decision makers. So those that were present did discuss their goals and accomplishments and were able to put those into the implementation plan as notations as to forward movement, which 4 commissions, 1, 2, 3, I think 4 commissions were represented. And each seems to have made some headway on what they need to be getting done.
Yeah. Trying to get that group to really be more of a watchdog or kind of for updates and what kind of progress is being made. And we've spent some time initially looking at certain topics, and now I think we're gonna try to get each commission member to be talking specifically about their goals and progress that has been made since the last meeting and, you know, significant activity and stuff.
Meetings open to the public to attend.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pretty much any, the meeting in town, so it's,
Yeah.
Are they? Town website, as a meeting coming up?
Yes,
so
yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, I think the next one's in.
Yeah.
June.
Oh, okay, I thought it was quarterly. Oh, because there would be a new quarter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes January meetings end up being
Mhm.
February because of getting enough people out or weather, but
And I think that brings us to commissioner comments, communication. And just will mention quickly that we've been contacted by the group that does the bike race. And they have a date already for 2026. So we'll try to get them on the agenda for next time. Get somebody here for that.
When you were on the issue of signage, there's a metal post at the cul-de-sac on Winesap Road for Bicentennial. But I think there used to be a sign on it, but there's no sign anymore. Am I correct that there should have been a conservation commission or some type of signage for that property being?
oh, look, I have a bunch of pictures from that area from over the years, so,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
our grounds crew may know.
Yeah.
More
Yeah,
likely
that-
our grounds crew knows,
You know,
but
said they used to put them on trees or, you know, whatever, but.
no,
this
they,
is a-
we try to put them on posts now instead of trees.
Barriers there so you can't drive in, and there's the post and there's nothing on the post. I keep thinking there was a sign there. Gone.
Sign said don't walk.
No, that's there. And up about walking your dogs and everything, it's all there, but the actual official sign, I think there was one, and I just
Okay.
know that's one. You wanna put one back up again and have one?
Anybody else, Karen? The only thing that no, that I have is just for us to think about, we are short on members. We've lost probably 75 years of experience with 3 people leaving us this year, long-term people, and Carl officially resigned as of last meeting, so
It's not the grocery store. I tried to tell him to take it back.
well, I'm hopeful that he will, you know, should officially thank him, you know, for his years, over 20 years on the commission, and he has said that he will stay a friend of the commission and help be eyes and ears for trail issues and stuff, so I hope that that's the case, because he's the one member that spends the most time on the trail. Yeah. So, you know, he's not somebody that can be really replaced, you know, but we need to get other, you know, other people in for regular members and alternates, but I will touch base with Carl this month. And thank him and see what we can do as far as what kind of role he might like to still have outside of the commission. So that's all I have. Anybody else?
I'm good.
All right.
Motion to adjourn then?
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
All right.
Time is 7:41.
That would be a record. At least since I've been on the commission, this is the first meeting.
And you had a
We did,
presentation and public comment.
that's good.
Night, guys.
kept
Thank you.
things Right to the point.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Thank you.
So,
So
yes, thank you, everyone. And